Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, Q&As, news from the Alpha, Nielsen, and Witchwood? All this as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Hello, friends, and welcome to another fine show that we've gotten ourselves into. My name is Pat Cain. I'm your host of this show, and of course, we actually have a full boat of players this week. And let's start first with the guy from Lords of the Storm. It's a show about Heroes of the Storm, and it's Gizmo!
Beechwood. We haven't said that one yet.
Oh.
Beechwood.
Oh.
It's a nice, hard, strong, and heavy wood.
Yeah. You know what else? You know what else I was thinking of? Sandalwood. I don't know if you've mentioned that.
I don't think we have. That's
Sandalwood.
Good.
Sandalwood. Well, nice to see you, Gizmo. Also, from Merely a Setback. Let's go with that. A podcast about the story of WoW and more. It's Sharku!
Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that show that he does.
Let's go with this one. Sure.
I used to live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I'm on it now. I'm on it.
Right?
Sick joke, bro.
Am I part of the club? Am I part of the crew?
Sure. Why not? Why not? Also a part of the crew of, you know her from Lagging Balls, from Battlenet Sports, and of course from dbltap.com. It is Thyst. Hello, Thyst.
Hi. I don't discriminate against woods. As long as they're durable, it's fine.
Wow. That's,
So you don't want the particle board or fiber wood?
No.
We're just gonna not do.
You don't want to snap those in half, you know?
Right.
Rains once and it's just it's over.
Yeah, you can't get it wet.
Right.
See?
And I was actually, out this last week, I was out in California, out by the Redwoods. So maybe... Is
that where you saw Guy Ferrari?
Yes, yes, I saw Guy Fieri.
Guy Ferrari.
I saw Guy Ferrari out in the wilds of Santa Rosa. You know, I actually saw him. It was weird. It was so weird. That was the second time I like saw him, and we passed by each other in like the last couple of years. One was at Universal Studios. Another one was this last weekend up in wine country in California.
What'd you say when you walked by? Did you go, hey, Guy?
Hey, Guy. Nice to see you, Guy.
It's your name.
And he said, don't call me Guy, friend. And I said, don't call me friend, buddy. No, didn't go
Did you wait until he passed like 30 feet and then turn around and go, hey, Guy, I like your stuff?
Yeah.
You know, that would have been consistent with my other stuff that I do, because I did that with Ben Brode at BlizzCon. Hey, Ben, like your stuff. And he almost runs into a stein. It was pretty great. It was pretty rad.
I remember that.
I liked it. It was funny. Well, welcome, friends, and welcome Twitch chat, and welcome to everybody out there in podcast land. Welcome to the show. And we have got a lot to talk about. But Shark, I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a minute,
and I'm concerned about your gaming life. What have you been doing in gaming world? Because I know that you've been busy in real world.
I'm a little concerned about my gaming life too. We have officially had to take a break from raiding on the Asparagus Initiative, so I haven't been really raiding much.
It happens this time of year. I mean,
it's the end of this. Yeah, it's the end of the expansion. Yeah. It's, we're getting into the summer times, and people just aren't as interested, and I'm not as interested. But I've been playing some MOBAs, been playing some HOTS, some LOLs, some of that stuff, console gamings, and having a good old time. I actually got to speak at my university recently. They had a festival called Game Fest, and I got to talk about lore and World of Warcraft to a bunch of kids.
That's fun.
Like from an academic standpoint. And I was like,
So they actually let you speak? Wow.
They let me speak. They actually pay me to speak at that school.
What?
Nice.
Holy buckets.
Yeah, twice a day, every day. So there you go.
Awesome. Well,
pretty fun.
Well, that's good. That's good. And yes, this is kind of the time when raid teams do have a tendency to go on break, and then, especially if you've kind of downed all the content that you kind of want to, stuff happens.
Yeah, and everybody's looking forward to the alpha and all the cool stuff that's coming out in BFA, and then they log on to live servers and like, this is not any good.
This is lame.
This is no fun.
This is lame.
I like it. I want my new stuff.
Right.
So I get you. I feel you.
Right on. Gizmo, how about you?
Yes.
What's new in your worlds?
A little bit of the same from last week. So I've been spending quite a bit of time on the PTR realm for Heroes of the Storm. Of course, checking out all the new goodies that are in there. And I've started streaming a lot more too. But when I stream, I occasionally stream HOTS, but it's this weird thing where I feel like when I stream HOTS, I put way too much pressure on myself, so it actually makes it not fun.
Oh,
because when you do a podcast about things, people expect you to actually be good at them. Yeah. And so I try hard too much.
Well, okay, maybe that's why I don't stream.
But I've been playing a lot of the Battle Royale type stuff.
Cool. Yeah. Right on.
And Overwatch.
Right on. Very cool.
Yay, Overwatch.
Now, Thyst, I know that you were watching the MDI a lot this last weekend.
Oh my God.
even though it was like the China regionals, for MDI and stuff, and we can get into this in a little bit, maybe as we talk about World of Warcraft and stuff like that. But what else have you been up to? A little bit of Overwatch League watching, right?
Oh, definitely. I have to watch all the things, but like lots of MDI that started at like 11 at night and it went till probably 6 in the morning.
Yikes.
So it was fun. No, it was good. Overwatch League is amazing. Been playing a lot of Overwatch myself, and this past week trying to get that BG bonus 4 wins in. Didn't this time. That's a first for me.
Oops.
In a long time. It's just during the BG bonus week, you get a lot of newcomers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get more newcomers on your team than the other team has. And it's really apparent. And it's just, it's okay because you want them to learn, but it also sucks because you're not going to win. And then you end up like spending an hour trying to win BGs and you don't win anything. And, all I need is one.
You know why that is?
Why?
Because all the new children go play on Horde. All the new experienced veteran gamers.
He's throwing heat already.
Well, that's just a lie.
Throwing heat right in the beginning of the show. Look out.
Sharku, I don't need your help right now.
Completely untrue.
Just let it happen.
I don't understand, Giz. I watched you sleep at BlizzCon.
Wow.
I wasn't sleeping. I was in a coma.
I know, but you're asleep at some point.
I don't know if I want to.
I don't remember if I slept at BlizzCon or not.
I'm pretty sure this last year I was a good kid for the most part.
You were. You're all hopped up on Jolly Ranchers.
I was hopped up on Jolly Ranchers. That's the worst it got this year.
Yeah, and you spilled coffee on your back somehow.
Oh yeah,
like weird. Literally just like sitting there with like this coffee stain on your own back.
Yeah, it happens. It happens all the time. Yeah,
it's something that happens at BlizzCon.
Right. The unexplained things. And I'm still so stoked for BlizzCon. Just announced last week, just before the show last week, right? And so November 2nd and 3rd, right?
Shocker.
The cool part about that is that a lot of folks get there on the Wednesday before. Mm-hmm. It used to be Thursday. Like Thursday was like, oh my gosh, we're here so early and some of the cool kids are showing up and blah, blah, blah. But now it's Wednesday. It's migrated another day.
Need to make it a whole week.
And so, but if you go on Tuesday, it feels too early. Wednesday feels like perfect. And then leaving right away on Sunday is probably the best thing to do. Like right in the morning before anybody else can get up. Just leave.
There's a couple schools of thought on that one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to plan a Disney trip around BlizzCon, which is perfect because Disney's right there. Mm-hmm. So my preference is if you're going to do the Disney trip, you do that on the Thursday right?
Sure.
Coming on the Wednesday, go to Disney on Thursday, BlizzCon Friday, Saturday, crazy day, and then you go home on Sunday. But a lot of people like to maybe come in either on Wednesday or Thursday and then do Sunday, the post-BlizzCon Disney trip.
Right, and that is called DizCon if you go on
DizCon.
Sunday.
And I don't know how people have the energy for that.
It was really hard.
It's really difficult.
I would say, hey, let's go crazy on Thursday. I'm all hyped and excited, and then I'm still hyped and excited for BlizzCon, and then I just sleep through the closing ceremony.
I usually can't go anyway because I'm being pulled all over the place by a bunch of different by wolves. Nope, I'm not.
Sexy wolves.
Dire wolves.
So I'm usually just running around just trying to work the event somehow, and so if I go to Disney, I go for like a half a day.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just feels, I don't know, unfulfilling. So I don't know. Anyway, maybe we should do some things, including the. Hold on 1 second. I gotta get all the things together. I wasn't ready for it, but it is time for the Convert to Raid Top 10. Convert to Raid Top 10. That's right. Yep. Come on. Oh wait, hold on a sec. There we go. Now my program froze. Anyway. Every week.
There's some music.
Single week. Yeah, no, I got music. I got music. Okay, so this week's top 10. One of the things that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about all of these different Q&As and interviews, especially coming from PAX East. A lot of them were kind of released after the show last week. And one of them kind of stuck out in my head. There was Shack News actually talked to Daniel Stahl, one of the developers for World of Warcraft, and in there it said that there were going to be changes, like the impact from the war is going to be felt throughout Azeroth, right? So it's going to be all over Azeroth. You're going to feel the impact of the war all over the place.
That sounds familiar.
And so I thought we'd do a top 10 quirky impacts of the war on Azeroth. All right? So here are the top 10 quirkiest impacts of the war on Azeroth. Here we go. Number 10. Worgen in Silverpine Forest finally treated for mange. That's one. They're just loose right now. They'll get better. All right, number 9. Horde sets fire to Darkshore as well, just to make sure Alliance Druids aren't lurking about. Just
makes sense to me.
To everything. Druids everywhere. Number 8. On the Wandering Isle, Pandaren now really serious about their faction choices. Now it means something. Red and blue really mean something now. All right. Number 7. Booty Bay goblins give 2-for-1 deals to Hordes, except those creepy blood elves.
Hey. Why am I creepy?
Sounds right.
It's creepy. There is no male blood elf. I don't understand it.
Jealous.
Right. All right, these are the top 10 quirkiest impacts of the war on Azeroth. Number 6. In Stormwind, all paintings of Thrall are removed until the next expansion. Then we can praise Green Jesus again. Sorry.
I'm looking forward to that.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. But, you know, everybody loves Thrall. Who doesn't love Thrall? Here we go. Number 5. Warlords of Draenor no longer exists for Horde members at all. It's just out. Now everybody wants to play Horde.
I'm down with that. Can we just skip it?
I like
get the levels.
Horde can, because it's all orcs anyway. So it's all good. All right. The number 4 quirkiest impact of the war on Azeroth. The Cenarian Circle becomes the Cenarian 2 semicircles.
How does that happen?
Get it? Because the factions are fighting.
Because they break them up.
They're fighting, and now they're 2 semicircles.
I got it.
Yeah. All right. Number 3. Gnomes and dwarves no longer welcome at Shorty's Pub in Ratchet. Because that's the Horde side. That's the Horde side. That's the Horde side.
Stinks.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
It's not.
That's fine.
It's not great. Number 2. Dalaran littered with signs saying the Horde have, quote, stinky pants.
That's not true.
In other words, Horde, get out! You have stinky pants!
My pants smell great.
Poop mouth.
I'll prove it.
Poop mouth.
I used to know a troll mage with some pretty stinky pants.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. All right, and finally, the number 1 quirkiest impact of the war on Azeroth. Jaina, still pissed. Yeah! There we go. I don't know.
Wait, Jaina's pissed?
Yeah, she's
I
always.
never know.
She's
What's
always,
she mad about?
She's always angry. She's just crazy.
Pissed.
She's crazy and angry. Didn't you see the cutscene where she stormed out of Dalaran, never to return?
She just needs a Snickers. That's all.
When the hunger's really getting at you. When the hunger's really poking at you.
They needed to do that, but they needed to have her as Garrosh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Not in my horde! Jaina, you're hungry.
Have this.
Have this. Yes, indeed. All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the news. Oh, wait. Hold on a sec. That's the mail. Hold on. The news is right here. There we go. Oh, man. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons today. Hitting all the wrong buttons. And, of course, we'll start with World of Warcraft.
A clever strategy.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about PAX East. I just talked about the PAX East interviews. We had a bunch of them. Sparty Smallwood, Swifty.
Witchwood?
Exactly, Smallwood. Swifty, Final Boss, Shaq News. We also had ones from the guys over at the Starting Zone. And please do listen to some of those because they're really, really good. And the ones over, especially at the Starting Zone, are I listened to them. They're great. So
Starting Zone is blowing my mind, by the way. They're killing it as of late.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
They've turned it up to 11 over there.
Yeah, they have.
They really have. So, I'm not... was there anything that stuck out to you guys on these different interviews as far as things that they were talking about? I mean, some of the stuff was pretty broad, like just talking about how island expeditions work or why class buffs are returning. Some of this stuff we kind of already know, right? Was there anything cool, new, whatever that you guys saw?
I really like the fact, and we obviously just talked about it, but the fact that we're going to see the impacts of the war throughout all of Azeroth. I love kind of world evolution throughout an expansion. Keeps things fresh. And then I also saw a nice little tidbit that AI is going to be smart enough to not stand and poop. That's always a good sign.
Oh, for the island stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And
although I guess then we'd kind of want them to stand in the poop. But.
Right. And I think that as far as like the effects of the war felt everywhere, I hope that they change some of the old world stuff around to have it make sense again.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least maybe, I don't know, put it in its own kind of like instance, the area or whatever, somehow. That would be kind of cool. But I mean, really, I think that the big thing that Daniel Stahl was talking about when he was talking about how you would be able to see the effects of it is because of war fronts in particular. Because the first war front is going to open in Arathi Highlands, but there's going to be more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. We're going to be going all over the place, not just to Arathi. We're going to be going all over the place.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I love when Warcraft uses what they already have. It like recycles things.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we already love this area. We already love this zone. We already love these dungeons, equals time walking. So now they're using like bits of the world that we love to do updated content in. And I love that, because I already love these places. WoW is so big that it doesn't necessarily need to like make new places all the time. Just update the old places. I'm happy.
Right.
It's good.
Yep. And go ahead, Giz.
I was saying, I'm really interested along the war fronts because they talk about how they want to have as many units as possible.
Nice.
In those areas to make it feel like a war front.
Right.
What the balance is going to be between, when those first open up and a lot of people are going to them, how the servers are going to handle that, how people's computers are going to handle it, and how they're figuring out that balance. But it seems neat.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing that I learned from this is that they're taking abilities like interrupts off the GCD.
Yeah.
So that you can use it immediately and not have to worry about.
Well, they're giving. It sounds like they're giving you like we had a conversation about this a few weeks ago about the GCD and about.
Did I miss it? Okay.
No. I mean, it wasn't necessarily about interrupts, but about kind of the GCD in general. And how they were taking off those key, like interrupts and like those key cooldowns that people need, like on the spot. Like it's more reactionary.
I need this now. Go ahead and just tap that. Tap it on in.
Like shields or whatever the case may be.
Taparoo.
You too good for your home.
go to your home, ball. Sorry, we've got Billy Madison references happening. Not Billy Madison. Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, that's the one.
Wrong. Awesome Adam Sandler movie. Sorry.
Either way. So yeah, I mean, that is cool, and they do seem to be doing a lot more with that.
I think I'm just ready for all of it to happen. Let's skip beta, go to live. I don't want to wait till August. Can I play now, please?
Right. And speaking of which, I know that they are one of the things, like Warfronts is being tested right now on the alpha, and alpha might not be the alpha for very much longer either.
Yeah, it was earlier today. I don't know. I thought it was a limited time thing. I tried to get in on all the realms.
It might have been.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. So, like everything on the alpha, it's gated. Who knows? What's going on? They're just testing stuff, and like raid testing lasts for 2 hours, and I don't know.
They hid from me the fact that I was even in the alpha. I've been in the alpha for 2 weeks and didn't know.
Nice. That's awesome.
Probably because I don't check my email.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize. I thought it was gonna people oh, it'll say in your launcher, and I would open my launcher. I thought it was gonna have a little banner hey, you're in the alpha now. But you have to actually go down and click and see if the alpha client is on your. I'm Sharku.
You had all the symptoms of alpha.
Yeah.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know.
People should check.
Too late. You really need to get your alpha checked, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice a week.
Yeah.
Now check your email. Check your BNet launcher. You might not know.
Yeah, like Pat was saying, alpha's not going to be alpha much longer anyway. It's going to go to beta. And are they insinuating open beta or just...
No, just beta. They're not. But I know that they've opened up alpha more and more and more as we've gone along. They've been inviting more and more people. I've seen more and more people on Twitter getting in and all that kind of stuff. So it's been good. Mm-hmm. I think that the rollout is pretty good. And I don't know exactly what it means to go from alpha to beta other than they feel like they have enough stuff to call it beta all of a sudden, right? I don't know what that means.
It seems like, to me, I feel like alpha is just sort of pieces of it coming together. Yeah. Beta is you have the game together, and now you're polishing, you're cleaning out those rough edges and making. The game is what you want it to be. Now you're just making it the best it can be.
Maybe it's that everything has to have a texture on it now. As soon as everything gets a texture on it, then they bump it up to beta, and they're like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
And then they gotta work on because what Warcraft VR is going to happen.
Oh yeah.
So that's what the textures, and then they're going to turn it VR 3D world.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to walk around.
That's going to be a thing.
And it's actually hooked up to a treadmill where to walk, you actually have to walk.
Right.
I think that's the only instance in which I would walk on a treadmill.
Right.
Can
I tell you how much I really want this to happen now?
The VR thing?
Wow VR, yeah.
I've always wanted this.
Well, I mean, I know, and I think secretly, subconsciously somewhere I have as well, but now with everything, I haven't played Skyrim VR yet, but apparently it changes lives.
You've been living in the game since 2004, and now it's finally time to get in the game, right?
To be there, yeah.
I want to live my life. IRL.
But I'm
VR.
gonna have like all these gadgets like hooked up to where like when I mount up and start to fly, there's gonna be a fan that turns on and blows wind in my face. And
You just sort of straddle the edge of your couch.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like a scarf.
I think everybody just saw Ready Player One this last week. So
Yeah.
No, that's what I actually haven't seen it yet, but I know I'm familiar. So, but yeah, that's what I need. I need that experience.
Right.
I need that experience.
I've been playing an MMO in VR, and it could definitely potentially work someday. It's a long ways off, or not? Maybe not a long ways off. Maybe not as long as we think.
It could definitely maybe work at some point in the future.
In the future.
In the way future. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Can you imagine the BlizzCon when they announced Warcraft VR?
I'm gonna cry as usual.
BlizzCon VR.
Yeah.
Oh,
Virtual.
We're just
ticket.
having BlizzCon and VR chat this
weird.
year.
The actual virtual ticket.
Yeah.
But then when you're at BlizzCon, there's a bunch of like robots like running around of the virtual ticket people.
Yeah.
Right? It's like robots with cameras.
oh boy. All right, let's get this train back on the rails a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about a couple of different things that are kind of going on, especially with the alpha. Right now, we are seeing a lot of different things being tested. Talked about Warfronts. They're also testing voice chat. I have not checked it out myself, but it works like voice chat in Overwatch. So
Yes, it
And
is.
Heroes.
and in Heroes. So
Yeah. Do you remember the voice chat back in the day?
yes. Do you remember
Oh,
do you remember
voice
the
chat client.
no voice chat back in the day?
Yes. I remember having to
It's
download
terrible.
Ventrilo and using that piece of garbage.
Ventrilo. I was
Ventrilo.
It was all about Mumble, man.
TeamSpeak, yo.
Oh, God.
TeamSpeak
See,
All that stuff.
before TeamSpeak 2.0.
None of those were good. Nothing was
No.
good.
And so now we have something that actually might work. Probably will work. Should work. Will work.
So I'm
Well,
curious though, like, is this gonna like open up WoW to just like a whole new like wave of unpleasant experiences with people that people don't know?
Yes.
Like
Well,
I
no,
know
I mean,
they
and no. But
So Gizmo, as far as how it works in HOTS and in Overwatch and stuff like that, you can mute people, you can ignore folks, right? And all that
yeah,
kind of good
absolutely.
stuff. And you can turn
Yeah,
yourself
you
off
can.
and whatever.
Yeah, and is kind of skeptical as I was with the voice chat and stuff coming out in HOTS. Yeah, I think there could be some unpleasantries, like if there's voice chat in pug groups and looking for raids, stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I think you'd be surprised. There's a lot of good experiences to have out there as well. So I
Cool.
think it's just one of those things that if the voice chat works well, great. If you want to, hop in. If you're having a good time in there, fantastic. If not, just leave, and it'll be fine as well.
Yeah,
Sure.
That's a good point. I guess like you're as likely to have like an unpleasant experience as you are having a pleasant experience and meeting new people in WoW, which is what WoW's all about, isn't it?
and unfortunately, a lot of it has to do with not unfortunately, but a lot of it has to do with the community, right? I think voice chat's a great idea. I think it's going to be a great tool. I think it's going to be utilized most of the time really well, and it's going to actually help your experience and help you make friends maybe in the game. But the problems that we have, the unpleasant experiences we're talking about, I talk about this actually in my social change class but it's the community. It's the gamer community. It's what has become acceptable to quote unquote gamer speak or whatever.
Sure.
And we as a community have to redefine what's acceptable, and then voice chat won't be as unpleasant.
One of the things that I will say though is that I'm kind of glad that they put this in game because now people don't have to worry about giving out their Discord info or
Sure.
whatever else. TeamSpeak info. No, that's not a thing that happens in World of Warcraft these days. But they don't have to hand out their Discord info so that if somebody is being a jerk, and this is just for groups, by the way, this is not this is not for just walking around Orgrimmar or Stormwind,
right?
or whatever.
And all of a sudden,
Hey, buddy.
you get yelling.
So
You want to listen to me breathe?
You can't just yell at people. So
Can I tell you a story? Back in the day, like Mist or something, some dude in Orgrimmar was late for his raid. So his raid team put his phone number in general chat. And they're like, hey, everybody, can you please call Mark or whatever his name was and tell him to get his butt online because it's time to raid. So naturally, I called him immediately and I left a really juicy message. And then I tried to call again, but his message box was completely full. Nice. So you can avoid things like that with voice chat.
Right.
Yes, well, you can tell a story real quick.
so anyway, you don't have to give these problem people your Discord info, and then they'll be on your Discord, and then you might have to kick them out at some point.
Right.
It really kind of eases everything as far as that communication thing, because that can take time away from raiding or dungeons or whatever you're doing. So
trying to get people logged into Discord or your whatever servers.
I'm really happy about that. So I'm glad for that, and I'm glad to see that kind of get streamlined a little bit. So
the pros outweigh the cons, and the cons can be fixed. Like I said, we as a community have to change that. It's nothing. Blizzard can't do anything. The video game companies can't fix that. We as a community have to say this is not acceptable.
Yes,
and move and change the culture.
Yay! That's true. That's true. We are the world. No, right. I'm not going to go into. I'm not going to go into that song again.
Got a little serious there. Sorry, but not sorry.
So that's some of the stuff that's being worked on. Let's see what else. Thyst. It seems like Blizzard wants to bring old players back as well.
That's right, Pat. They sure do.
Look at that segue. That's great. So why don't you just tell the damn folks what they want to know, please.
The damn folks.
Yeah.
Gee, Pat, what's going on? Well, guess what? If you have 6 months of inactivity on World of Warcraft, if you update your BNet, you could find that you can claim 7 days of free game time until April 30th of this year.
That's cool.
So all you have to do is go into the gifts tab of the BNet app and activate that, and then get into the game for 7 days. I recommend clearing your schedule. Don't go to work. Don't sleep. Don't eat. Well, maybe eat. Maybe sleep a little. No, eating's fine.
Well, Hot Pockets.
Just play for 7 days. Yeah.
Hot Pockets.
Eating's fine.
Yeah, eating's fine.
I'll allow eating.
I mean, sometimes it's hard to eat and play at the same time. So
eating and bathroom breaks, totally legit.
I forgot that.
You got it. You need both.
Right.
Otherwise, you get stinky pants.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you get asked to leave Dalaran.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's kind of that info. And now, Thyst, I actually want to talk some WoW eSports with you.
Oh.
So this week we are not doing Battlenet Sports because I came home from California last night and I had 15 to 36 inches of snow in my driveway. Legit.
We all know that driveway snow is the worst thing for your internet connection.
That's right. It's the worst.
It's
the worst thing for podcasting since something. So I want to talk a little bit of esports because I know that the MDI started up this weekend. We had the China regional qualifications, and I just wanted to get your opinion of what happened this weekend for the streams out there.
It was incredible. I love the MDI, and it wasn't like, I mean, there are a lot of things that are different this year, but just looking at it, the interface was different, and it was cool because everybody who works in the MDI, it seems like they're really open to suggestions from Twitter and from the community. So the first night, people were a little bit confused because they were showing both teams at the same time on the screen, and they didn't have the names of the teams, but they had the system to figure it out. But people were like, hey, could you add the names of the teams to the interface? And so they just added it the next day, and it was that much better. So that was really cool. It's this esport is just so inclusive. And the way that the WoW team and everybody working on the MDI is just so open to everybody's critiques and thoughts on it. So anyway, that was really cool. but it did last a very long time. This year, like each region gets their own broadcast weekend. So we did have the China regionals, and it was amazing. Like the China teams, they've got that flavor, like they're just. Can I just talk about Team No Healer for a second?
Yes.
Guess what? They didn't have a healer.
What?
And that was just, it was blowing my mind.
So the name actually meant something. Look at that.
They were messed around.
Nice.
At all. But they didn't win ultimately, but they got really, really far without a healer. And Skyline D won, spoilers, ultimately. And it was just, Pat, I don't know. It was just so good. And the casters were so great. We had 2 new casters this year, Nagura and Sowers, and they were amazing. All the casters were fantastic. And I'm glad that they added more casters because, like, that's a lot of time to be on the desk.
Yeah,
Like, I don't even... Anyway, it was just... If you haven't seen it, next weekend is Asia Pacific. Yep. So it's Friday, April 20th. It starts at 8 p.m. PDT, and it goes till Saturday night. And Free Marcy, team that won the whole thing last year, is competing next weekend. So I'm really interested to see how much better they are this time. So definitely check it out. It's like the new interface just makes it as easy to understand as possible. The casters are funny and intelligent, and they make everything as easy to understand as possible. And like, if you play WoW, you're going to be doing dungeons. So you're going to see these dungeons. You're going to at least understand what they're doing. So if you're looking to get into esports, I highly recommend the MDI to start with, because it's cute, it's quirky, and it's really exciting, and it's great, and it's totally amped up this year, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
Apparently, Sloot got sick right after broadcasting all this stuff. He has this bad cold. So, but he has just enough time to get well enough for next weekend or this weekend.
You better.
And so, actually, this weekend, the timing works out a little bit better because the APAC regionals start 8 p.m. on Friday. So that's kind of nice.
You could probably swing it.
It goes really late, but if you're a night owl, that could be the stream for you.
Yeah, and it's just like, and feel free to interact on Twitter. That's what I've been doing this whole time. Just use the hashtag MDI, and like the chat room's really great. It's also available in German and Chinese. I checked out the German stream. It was really cute. It was just 2 dudes sitting at the small little table with like 2 figurines on either side, and they were just talking about what's going on, and it was great. But yeah, it's just.
I didn't know you spoke German.
I don't.
All right, cool. But they changed some stuff around. The UI is a little bit better. It's all just kind of building on last year. Last year I thought was a really good year. Now they're having these regional qualifications, and we'll be able to see all the different regions over the next month. And then it goes to the finals in June, right? June?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So something cool to look forward to. And also, speaking of APAC, because we were talking about Asia Pacific, they are actually getting into World of Warcraft Arena as well, right?
They are. So for the first time ever, APAC's going to host APAC regional finals. And there's going to be 3 Korean teams, 2 Taiwanese teams, and 3 Aussie and New Zealand teams competing. And I'm really excited for everybody. So that's starting in May. They're holding qualifying cups spread over 2 months. And each cup will follow the same point of structure as the North American Cups. And then after all the cups are finished, the 3 teams from Australia and New Zealand with the most points will qualify for the Asia Pacific regional finals. So
Gizmo, what is Lily's ultimate? Is it the
Jug of 1,000 cups?
Yeah, Jug of 1,000 cups. That's what WoW Arena feels like right now.
Pretty much. But it's cool that it's being branched out. I mean, I wish there were more of these all over the place. Like, I would love to go and watch these live. Like, I hope that WoW Arena Sports, eSports, like, becomes as big as Overwatch. And then they could get their own stadiums, then we could go watch. So
you mean Heroes.
And that too. All the Blizzard eSports.
Either way. So speaking of all the Blizzard eSports, as long as we're here, and I do want to talk about this, and I think that this is important for people that just enjoy the game and they don't care about esports at all. I think it's very interesting because Activision Blizzard is teaming up with Nielsen, the same guys that bring you TV ratings, right? And they are gonna they are going to measure the value of all of the different esports brands. So they're gonna actually say, okay, the value of Overwatch League is brah. The value of Heroes of the Dorm. I don't know if they're gonna do Heroes of the Dorm. I don't know. I think that was already measured a couple of years ago when they played it on ESPN.
Yeah.
But they're doing that for all the different esports, and it could be very interesting what ends up happening. And I know, Gizmo, you said before the show that you're kind of worried about it.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a legitimate fear, but there's just a small part of me that knows Heroes isn't their biggest esport. It's had its struggles. It's still growing. But part of me fears just there being a number put on it, and then Blizzard seeing that and deciding maybe it's not worth it. Well, putting as much effort into it, which I don't think it will happen. But it's just like this irrational thing in the back of my mind that's like, I really don't want it to.
I would say, if it makes you feel any better.
Presley says, but heroes never die.
Heroes never die. That's true. But and on that note, I would say if Blizzard hasn't given up on Heroes of the Storm already, they're not gonna.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. But, so I think that. I feel the same thing, because it was the same problem with the. What was it? It was a Game Informer. Was it Game Informer that gave them the bad review?
IGN. Yeah.
Gave them the bad review early on, and then revisited it recently. Mm-hmm. Numbers hurt if they're not good numbers. But at the same time, I think Blizzard is smart enough to know what works about that game, and that the game does work. And even though the numbers might not be there, they still have faith, and they still know why it's working, and going to keep making it work. So
and I have no doubt. I have no doubt that they, I don't think they'd ever just completely give up on it. But it's a very real aspect that they could see these numbers and decide to devote more assets to different teams.
Sure, and
which could definitely affect it.
So that's one thing that they will probably try to figure out, right? If there is, especially the esports side of things, if there are adjustments that need to be made, they can make them and say, okay, you know what? Maybe they say that HOTS esports isn't doing so great, so then they take a couple of guys and move them over to Overwatch League.
They've already done that a lot.
Well, I'm sure. A couple more guys. How's that? Yeah. A couple more guys and move them over to Overwatch League. Or maybe they find that WoW Esports is really doing a lot better than they thought. So maybe move some folks over there, or MDI, or just all of the WoW Esports, right? So it could go in a variety of ways. Most likely they're doing it because of advertising. Mm-hmm. Like they really want to nail down their advertising bucks and figure out how they can sell this. Because I know that Overwatch League, while they have advertisers, they don't have many.
Mm-hmm. No, right? But they do have big ones. Like Toyota's huge. So I think what I want to believe is going to happen is that this is going to be a good thing. It's going to legitimize everything that Blizzard is doing to try to make their esports more legitimate, more digestible, more general, putting esports in the living room, so to speak. And I think that this could potentially do that.
Right.
Like they already have the big sponsors of Overwatch League. We already know Overwatch League is doing really, really well. So that would be great. But then I also know that like Blizzard has heart, and like Blizzard doesn't necessarily like start up a new franchise just for the money, like they do it because they believe in it and they love it. They're not just going to like toss something aside. So like if they get all this like this attention and this money and all these resources from Overwatch, then they can surely like spend some of that on other games. And, while they might be smaller venues or less resources for their other games, it's still going to be something, right? Like this could just take Blizzard esports to the next level, and then it would be good for everybody. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm hoping.
I think so too. It's still a risk though, and I actually applaud Activision Blizzard for doing it, because they're valuing the assets of these esports. What if the value is very low for all of them? You know what I mean?
I don't think it matters. I mean, just the idea that they are using Nielsen, who has been around forever, doing ratings for radio and TV, that means to me that Blizzard is really pushing to make sure that esports becomes mainstream as fast as possible.
They're committed to legitimizing this as a legitimate entertainment.
They don't have to legitimize it. They already do every day, but just
exactly
from their games. But
and the choices, and those of us that are familiar with the games already know, and that's what. But they're committing to broadcasting that to as many people as possible. And what I think is really interesting, they're committing to make esports a spectator event. They're committing. It's not just gamers sitting watching Twitch. That are doing this. It's not just people watching, they want to be like, hey, this is something. It's good. They want to make it the Super Bowl. They want to make everybody know about esports, know how the game works, whether they really enjoy watching it or not. If the big game is on, everybody's there watching it. That's what I can see. I know that's what they're trying to do. And I think that's great. It's risky. I don't know if it'll work, but I hope it does. And I can't do anything but applaud them for their efforts because it's obvious that they want to make it happen.
Sure.
Hey, if it can work in Korea, it can work here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It might take a couple years, but yeah. Sure. Why not? All right. We should probably just leave it there, though. If you guys have comments or questions or anything like that when it comes to this move by Activision Blizzard, make sure to reach out to us, converttrade@gmail.com or through Twitter or whatever. Just let us know what you're thinking, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this move, about having Nielsen kind of rate their esports and try to give it a value.
Yeah, and I noticed cool. They continually refer to it as Activision Blizzard too. They're including Call of Duty. They're including these other big name esports that are
Call of Duty
part of it.
That's the only other one. All right.
Yeah,
but much. We need to move on, so let's move on to Heroes of the Storm.
Let's jam.
Okay. So sorry, I don't know why I did the Fight Night voice on introducing Heroes of the Storm, but I did it that way.
In this corner,
Gizmo, you were talking about being on the PTR a lot.
Yes.
For Heroes. What's going on the PTR right now?
Well, there are some balance changes that are happening. Thankfully, Phoenix got some last week, but they're making a few more changes on the PTR. But the most important thing here is Deckard Cain.
Yeah.
Is here.
He
is here.
Yes.
Everybody do their impression.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
I should have known to have a pause there.
Right.
So I talked about his kid a little bit last week, but now I've gotten my chance to kind of get my hands on him. I haven't played a ton of them because the wait is literally like 20 minutes sometimes to queue as him. So, but I've noticed playing along, with him as well, and he feels really good. His traits, where he has to, if he's within range of teammate, his cooldowns are reset 50% faster. Adds a really cool play style to him. His potions just feel really good. His Roger Cube feels good. The talents that synergize with that, the gems you can put in there. His scroll feels amazing. I have not seen Lornado yet, surprisingly.
Lornado. Which I love that. I just love Lornado. Both of his ultimates are great because it's Lornado and Stay a While and Listen, right?
Yeah. And I think that's not a surprise, even though I think Lornado will probably be... Actually, I think he's going to have a nice split of his ultimates actually being... or heroics, being map dependent. But, of course, with him just entering the game, everyone knew Stay a While and Listen was going to be a thing.
Right.
That's going to be the thing for a while. Well, that was because how can you not pick that?
Yeah. It was like 2 years ago, I think, when the game first came out. I remember, I don't know if it was, I think it was Scott Johnson on the Instance was talking about, oh yeah, we got to see, or it might have been his, the podcast. Oh my God, the core. Thank you. But anyway, he was talking about like, we need Deckard Cain, and he's just have this long stun, Stay a While and Listen.
Yep. There you
go. It's happened when I saw it happening. I was like, 2 years in the making.
I heard that they were going to update the graphics on Lornado and have it just be Josh Allen heads just circling around.
Oh God!
Just a giant swirling fro. You get tangled in the fro.
That's right.
We're going to make that a segment. We're going to make that a segment on merely a setback. Lornado. We got to figure out how to make that work.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. What else? What else is happening on PTR?
Yeah, so they've just kind of introduced some more skins and stuff. Deckard's. I think we're going to call him Cain. People have been calling him Deckard. That feels weird. Deckard Cain's too long. So I think the community is discussing this very important matter right now on Reddit. I think it's leaning towards Cain. But he has his alternate skin. It's called the Wastewalker Deckard. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a Mad Max, like desert wanderer type thing, which is cool. And the mount that goes with it is called the Road Chariot mount. Whoa. So it's just like a kind of like a Segway, I guess. Okay. Now that I'm looking at it more. But it's a chariot without horses, a motorized chariot, which is a Segway.
It's like Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah, exactly. Get back here, you darn kids.
Right.
No groups of 8 or larger at the mall.
I'm sorry.
Is that a rule around you guys? Like, I have signs posted in my mall. It's like, if you're under 18, you can't have groups of 8 or more.
I don't know. I see if you're under 18 and I just walk on by. I just don't even worry about it.
But there's a lot of other skins. Most of the stuff just skin tints. Some of the cool ones are a Nephilim skin series.
Ooh.
We have one for Johanna, Karazim, Li-Ming, Vala, Sonya, and the Diablo characters. I don't know why it took me getting through 5 or 6 of them to realize that. That's like an orange and black skin tint that looks pretty neat.
Awesome.
That sounds good.
I guess I'd say.
Awesome.
It's like convert to raid colors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Convert to raid skins.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Awesome. Now there were also there was also a Q&A on Reddit, right?
Yeah.
So what happened during that? Because I was gone for this. So what happened during the Q&A on Reddit?
So first, let me say, before I get into that, we talked about how last week it reached a peak. Reddit was a bad place to be, and the Heroes of the Storm subreddit.
Right.
The results of this Q&A and stuff happening, looking at the Reddit page, things are kind of happier now. Like I said, some of the, petition to call Deckard either Cain or Deckard Cain instead.
Right. When that's that's the biggest thing on the HOTS board, that is, everything's fine.
It's great. There's guides up here. There's, it's a happy place to be now.
Awesome.
For now. I'm sure it'll get weird again.
Right.
But yes, this whole thing came to a head. We talked about last week they were going to be doing a post that I believe came out. It was either Thursday or Friday last week, just about some of their plans here, and it is hitting on a lot of things that people have been concerned about. Such as MMR and matchmaking. What else do we have? Ranked play. They hit on new hero balance, toxicity, and reporting. So they released all this stuff, and then they did the AMA on it, and it was a huge AMA. Like, I spent like 45 minutes going through all this stuff, reading it, and I don't even think I got halfway through.
I'm still scrolling. I've just been scrolling since we started, and it's still going.
Right.
It's huge. So thankfully, because me and the other Zords and stuff are like, what are we going to do? Like, we want to get a highlight of this. Thankfully, there's some people that have already done that. And over at MMO Champion, which is great. So some of the big things that came from the post and the AMA, they are going to be adding a third ban, which people have been asking for a long time. Currently, they're wanting to make it a mid ban, but there's been some backlash to that, and they're considering making it in the first ban phase. Interestingly, they kind of went through the reasoning on this. A lot of people are arguing, we want that to be in the first phase because that's how it should be in the HGC and stuff. And they went and explained how if you do that in the first phase, for majority of players, all that's going to be is another meta ban, and it's not going to have much meaning. Right. To where if there's only one at the top, like it is now, that's your meta ban because you don't really know who you're playing against. And now if you have 2 in the mid, those can be much more informed bans as far as, if you see what type of composition they're going. And I actually really like that because we have the thing where you can't go and see what players you're playing against. So you can't check their profile. You can't go to third-party sites and see what they're playing. So really having 4 bans before the draft even starts doesn't make much sense unless there's just, banning out OP Phoenix.
Right. I was going to say it also makes it much less likely that you're going to get to play one of your stronger characters that you like to play, that all of a sudden there are 4 bans that happen. And if there are 4 strong characters, I mean, it's the same thing when KT was strong. All of these, all the meta bans, you never get to play what you want. This is just adding another one of those. So if you're a KT main, you're just never going to get to play in ranked. And that's that. I think that would be regressive. Whereas if you still have just the one meta ban, good. You're going to ban out something OP like Phoenix all the time, and that sucks for those mains. But at the same time, more people get to play the characters they want to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So that was kind of one of the things here. They've talked about full MMR resets. People have been asking for that. They said they considered it, but it would be really ugly, which indeed it would, because it would just be a hodgepodge of all skill levels playing each other for a really long time. When it comes,
love that idea.
Yeah, that sounds awful. When it comes to ranked play, they are changing the way that placement matches are going to be working to where it's going to be based off of how active were you in the season prior. Right now, it's still no matter what, you play 10 placements at the beginning of the season. They're wanting to switch that. If you play enough games, you're only going to have to play 1 placement match because you're playing enough to where your MMR is accurate. The placement matches don't really mean anything for you, so why should you be having to play all those through all those, which is really cool. The other big thing for ranked play here is hero swaps. This is on their list. It's not top priority right now, but they are wanting to get it to where, that way it doesn't, in Hero League, you can be more, I don't know what the word is.
Fresh.
But yeah, fresher, build better compositions without having to, my healer is first pick, so we're just going to pick the healer first. Somebody else can pick up the healer, they can swap later. Yeah. The big things here for me, quick play has been a bad place for a really long time. They discussed some of the changes that are going to be coming to that. Right now, they haven't. They've had it more based on let's get you in a match quick, while still trying to consider some match quality. So they've been trying to find a balance there, and it just has not been working. And they found that, through different forums and Reddit, people would be more willing to wait a little longer for a better match. So they're actually going to be implementing a rule to where quick match has a set that they have to follow, where teams have to have 1 warrior, 1 support, and then they'll have 3 flex positions. So from there, then it can build, maybe you'll have 2 warriors, maybe you'll have 2 supports, or maybe you'll have a warrior support specialist and 2 assassins or 3 assassins. So while it's not going to be perfect matches by any means, again, that's not what quick match is for. It's to get you in a match quick.
Sure.
But this is going to help people who have only played quick match or just enjoy quick match but get weird comps, kind of move them up, let them make better decisions in game, kind of learn how the team mechanics are supposed to feel as they move up into unranked draft and ranked play.
So is that kind of like queuing in WoW a little bit? I mean, it's not necessarily the same type of thing, but I mean, if you have, because if you need a warrior and you need a support, it's basically kind of like WoW in that you need a tank and you need a healer, right?
And
then the rest of them, who cares, right?
Yeah,
it's just kind of whatever, they can do it.
They have had things in the past to where like there will be a notification. It's not really big, but like, hey, matchmaking queue is kind of weird right now. If you queue up as an auto select, you'll get, it was either bonus gold or bonus experience. And that was to kind of help it out. People have had ideas of being able to queue up as multiple heroes to help it. But an idea somebody had in the AMA that the heroes team is going to consider is actually showing somewhere on the hero select kind of the percentages of each role that are currently in the matchmaking.
Oh man!
So you can make a better informed decision.
That'd be weird.
Do I want to wait
to pick a hero?
Yeah. Do I want to wait for a game to get what I want to play, or do I want to play now and take support?
and they just thought it was an interesting idea.
That just seems cool. That just seems weird to me. Like knowing exactly what the queue is like.
Everything seems weird to you, Pat.
It does.
In LoL, though, they actually have you, and they do this for the ranked, and I don't know if they talked about this at all, or if Heroes has ever thought about this, but they have you queue up. When you queue up for ranked, it's not just, okay, I want to play ranked, it's I want to play ranked, and I want to play this role or this role. Right. So you would get, and then when you get queued in, it says, hey, you're the warrior. Or something. You're going to be a tank. So you have to play, you've signed up for it. That's what your role is. You're going to play a tank. And so you don't have that problem where everybody auto selects assassin and then they all complain about who's going to tank, who's going to support.
I want that. I mean? I want that in every game where it makes sense. Not Overwatch, but everywhere else where it makes sense.
Well, and that's the thing about Heroes is the comps are so different. Like in League, you have every lane, everything is very specified and it works. And you basically have to bring that comp. You can't really mess with that much. But there've been 3 warrior comps that have worked really well on HOTS in the past. Double support, double warrior, like
triple warrior.
Exactly. Yeah. All sorts of warriors. Which is why I kind of like, okay, you're gonna tank, you're gonna heal, and everyone else is flex, or maybe 1 assassin and 2 flex or something.
Sure.
But I don't know. I think it would be an interesting idea. Just to throw that out there, even though I wasn't on the AMA.
But again, this AMA is absolutely huge. We'll be talking about it extremely in depth from Lords of the Storm. The last thing I kind of want to go over, they just gave like a short timeline because someone kind of asked of things that are coming. And so the first one that actually went in, it was either today or yesterday, was a new toxicity report validation system. So they're using a new formula to be able to more accurately go through reports when it comes to especially offensive behavior or offensive language.
Like what?
Well, I guess I'm not playing HOTS anymore because that's all I ever do.
This show would get banned on the new report system, I'm sure. Exactly. Just so it can be more accurate, get those rolled out quicker to keep those people out of ranked play, put them on silences. And they're going to continue to do the same thing with AFK, non-participation, leaving. And they actually said to keep an eye on your inbox for your email that's connected to your Battlenet. And for AFK and stuff, those reports you make, they are going to start sending out emails to let you know that action has been taken on reports that you've made, which is similar to, I know Overwatch has been doing that. Mm-hmm. Then next on their list of priority is the matchmaking improvements, which we just talked about. Then loss forgiveness and improved leaver punishments.
All right.
Which more into the toxicity stuff.
Yep.
Then the ranked improvements, which goes into the placement matches. There's going to be a ranked decay that they're going to be introducing in as well. And then my personal favorite, performance-based matchmaking. They took that offline when it started causing issues, but they've continued to have it running to gather information and statistics. They believe that it is getting ready to roll again, and they're hoping to have that out for the next season, which is really exciting.
Wow. Right. That's so cool that they shared all that.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot on their plate, though.
They do.
Lot on their plate.
And again, they've gone through and said, we're going to work on being more communicative. So this is a good step. They've done these before, but this was a lot of information. They had a lot of, the big dogs on this AMA.
Still spinning.
Right.
All the stuff.
It probably will be. Yeah. So if you really want to know more about the AMA, listen to Lords of the Storm this week. Apparently that's going to be a big thing. Right?
Yep. Just a little big portion.
All right. Well, in that case, a little big portion, most of the show. All right. So let's take a step back and we'll move over to a different game because there's so much going on. So let's go to Hearthstone.
Well met.
Thank you. And you three, are you three playing
play Hearthstone.
I know you do, Shark. Have you been playing Witchwood?
Witchwood.
The not sandalwood, not red.
What did we?
I gotta
Redwood.
figure out a new one.
Yes, I have. I have been playing.
Nice.
I have been playing the new
Bigwood?
expansion.
Right. The one
And I'm losing
golf thing. Yeah,
like 80% of the time.
Oh, really? What are you finding? How are you finding the new expansion? Are you liking it? Or are you not liking it?
I think it's great. I always hate the beginning of new expansions because I'm not even going to apologize for it. I'm a net decker. Hi.
Yeah.
My name is Sharku, and I'm a net decker.
Yep.
And that's all right. It's okay to be that guy. And Tipo Storm's Meta Snapshot's not up yet for the new expansion, so I don't know what decks to play.
By the way, a net decker, for those guys that don't play Hearthstone, a net decker is somebody that goes on the internet, looks for decks, and then makes them off of other people's suggestions.
I don't create them on my own.
Right.
I am not.
That was a sandwich.
Neither do I. Neither do
net
I.
decker?
I don't do that at all.
And there's nothing wrong with that because you still have to be talented at the game. You still have to understand and be a good player to utilize those decks correctly. Sure. And some people are theory crafters, some people aren't. I'm not one. Every now and again, I might, get a little drunk and decide to make a deck that's not going to work.
That's what you do when you're drunk?
Right.
I'm going to make a Hearthstone deck.
But yeah, it's not. So I have been playing a little bit of the Shutterwalk Shaman.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen this yet?
I've kind of dabbled. I've kind of looked at it. What's special about that particular one?
Speaking of AMAs, I saw a Reddit AMA the other day. This is I'm stuck in a 2-hour Shutterwalk Shaman game AMA.
Right.
Because what happens is the Shutterwalk replays any battle cry that you've already played in that game.
Yeah.
Right. So if it says battle cry, deal 3 damage, and all right, it does all of that, and targets are chosen at random. And then there's also a shaman card that makes your battle cries happen twice.
Yeah.
Right? The next battle cry happens twice. So basically what can happen is you can have... I've seen this particular thing go on. They played it immediately at the beginning of their turn, and they would have... They roped like 5 minutes ago before their turn's over.
Yeah.
You know what
ridiculous.
I mean? Wow.
Yeah.
It's over and over. And so it's just a really, really long thing. I really enjoy Shutterwalk because I think it's kind of fun, but for now, but I don't think it's going to be a long term.
No.
I don't know how. I don't know. But I think there's some really cool things about it. I really like the odds only, evens only decks. I think that are happening.
I think the bigger one out of the two is the odd only deck. I think that's
where it improves your hero power.
Right. And so especially like hunters and rogues and stuff like that are able to put a lot of early pressure on to their opponent, which is kind of cool.
Paladins have been a huge thing recently by just summoning a bunch of their hero power guys, whatever the reinforcements.
Yep.
And then buffing them to all hell and destroying your face.
Yep.
They get scary.
It happens.
But yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. I had Brode's thing up for a second.
Well, there's also there's a new spiteful deck. Well, there's a couple of different spiteful decks for priests as well, and those are pretty cool. All I know is because it's a new year. It's now the year of the Raven. Like all of the decks that I had are now wild, and I'm like, ugh.
They're completely get
out of here, wild.
Here's another thing.
Decks, I don't like you anymore.
My best friend cringes when I told him about this, but every time something goes out of standard, I just dust all the cards.
Oh yeah,
I want to play standard cards. A lot of people
do that.
I can't do that either. I can't do that either.
That hurts me just thinking about that.
Shark, did you freeze up? I think Shark froze up.
He's just so shocked.
Yeah, he is. He froze up. There he is.
Oh, did am I frozen?
Yeah, not anymore. You're fine now.
Oh, I saw. Something happened on the internet. I'm sorry. Either way, I ran out of dust, and I was really sad. But the first one I dusted, the first legendary in a wild deck I dusted was Dr. Boom, and it made me feel really bad because he's my favorite. I know. Some people just actually cringed.
He's pretty great.
Yeah, I can do it.
Too bad.
Dr. Boom's awesome.
But a lot of people, I just don't play wild ever. I just really don't. And so but I have a ton of dust. I had 20,000 dust after I was done with everything.
Ugh.
So I got lots of new cards, and I can make all the decks happen.
All right.
But yeah, it's crazy time because not only is it a new expansion, but like you said, it's a new year.
Yeah.
So everything
has changed.
But it looks like right now, as always on the ladder, if you're trying to get aggro, seems to be doing really well. So like Dude Pallies and Face Hunters and things like that.
Yeah, I think Hunters got a big bonus for this time around. I mean, they're coming back into fashion now, and
the odd deck Face Hunter is a thing.
And the Shutterwalk is there for Shaman, but there's nothing else. I don't think there's nothing.
Yeah, I really don't. I know the Lady in White Priest has been a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a card that if you play it, everything in your deck automatically gets as much damage as it has health.
Right.
Which is frightening if you can play that card early.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, if you can't play that card early, the deck's kind of dead.
Right.
But if you play it early, then
so I mean, those are kind of the big deck types that are out there now, and I think that we've kind of covered the ones that we're seeing at least early on, and I think that we'll over the next couple of weeks we'll get some refinement on that stuff and try to figure out exactly what the new meta is for Hearthstone. In the meantime, I know that Ben Brode has done a couple of different interviews, Q&As, whatever. Was he at PAX East? I think he was.
He was.
And so I think he talked to Shack News out there, and he's also talked to Tempo Storm.
Mm-hmm.
And Shark, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that we really necessarily learned anything. It was just kind of more cool to once again hear Ben Brode talk. Number one,
of course,
he's got a cool voice.
I think the thing that I thought was most interesting was him talking about the way that they want to use their keywords, right? Like some things like Rush, they introduced Rush, which is basically charge, but you can't hit the face with it, right?
Yeah.
So that's something they want to keep using, and they're going to keep utilizing that in decks to come. But some of these other keywords, like Inspire, was really only during that one expansion.
Yeah.
Grand Tournament.
Grand Tournament. Thank you. Echo is something. Adapt is something that's not going to necessarily be brought back in other expansions. But maybe after a while, is the way he said. Like, these are things that we might bring back in a later expansion in another year. A year of the whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. After they've gone, maybe we bring them back and bring some different synergy with these older keywords that we've used. But they kind of have two sort of categories of the keywords that they want to keep around forever, like charge and rush and taunt and things like that. And then some of the other more obscure keywords that are just going to be around for an expansion and then might find its way back into it
right
sometime later. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's, and that's just kind of like how the developers, it's kind of nice to get inside the head of the developers a little bit, and no matter what they're talking about, whether they're talking about WoW or Hearthstone or whatever, and just kind of be able to understand why they're kind of moving the way that they do.
Right.
It's just neat.
Agreed.
I like it. All right. So now, oh man, we're running a little bit behind today.
We're going super long.
That's all right. That's all right. And
you've never been concerned about length, Pat.
But we do. we should move on. And now I'm going to move right past that one and go to Overwatch.
Now we're cooking with gas.
All right, Thyst.
Hi.
Can you talk about the new 6v6?
I'd love to.
The new competitive
I'd love to.
Because this is actually pretty cool.
Oh, it is so cool.
I kind of like this.
It's all right. So it's amazing. So it's competitive, but it's 6v6 elimination, and you just go into arcade and you choose it and you go in, and it's just like you're playing competitive. It's got skill rating, so like 10 placement matches, skill rating determined the same as usual. SR adjusts after each win or loss. You get comp points afterwards towards your golden guns and what have you. So it's like a best of 3. So you go in and you earn 1 point by defeating the enemy team. The winning team can no longer use the heroes that it just used.
That is the wild part. That is
So like, I'm going to get back to that.
All right.
But 3 points wins the match. So when you go in, you've got like 30 seconds to choose your hero. And it's just like a normal sort of setup. You choose your hero, and then you go in and you're in the spawn room for exactly 3 seconds. And then you're out the door.
Wow.
And you're going at it. So if you win the first round, you can't use the same heroes that you just used. So this is interesting because you're not always going to get what you're good at. You're not always going to, and we're used to that in Overwatch. But like, if you win, like if you choose your best thing up front and you win, you can't use that again. And it's interesting because you can just sort of go with the flow and try to play what you're best at in each, or try to fill or whatever. Or you can be strategic about it and think like, okay, the team that we just beat had this. So they could potentially have like a pharmacy again, which they probably will. Or if the team just beat us and they had a pharmacy, like, what are we going to do? Like, they don't have that anymore. So we could use our pharmacy and beat them. So it's just like, it's sort of like opening up this whole new like strategic method into choosing comps. And since it's so quick, like you literally get 30 seconds to choose and 3 seconds and you're out the door.
Right.
And then you just go for it. And it's competitive, but it's super, super small and bite sized, but you could really put a lot into this. And I don't know, man, I had a lot of fun with doing it. It's a lot less daunting than regular comp, obviously. Yeah. And it's so fast paced that it doesn't give people enough time to be tilted and mean to you. So
I mean, let's not go there. This is this is Overwatch. We're talking about it. I mean, come on. But it is really fast because we're talking about 6v6 elimination. We're not talking about running around maps and trying to push a payload or anything like that. It's just elimination. So as soon as you're dead, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, this is a fantastic mode for people to play. It's one of my favorite modes to play in arcade, just because it forces you to get better with other heroes.
Get good, noob.
So if you're looking to expand your roster, if you've been kind of stalling out in regular competitive, or if your characters have fallen out of the meta, hop over into this. You'll still have that competitive feel, but expand your hero pool, and it's a great mode.
Right.
It's so much fun.
So cool.
It's so quick.
So cool.
I love it.
Yeah. And I know that so there's that going on in Overwatch. And so when is the season now? The competitive season. It's going through May, right?
It's going through
May 8th.
May 8th. Yeah.
May 8th. There we go.
Or May 7th Pacific. So 5 p.m. Pacific on May 7th.
Aha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Day after my birthday.
There you go.
Thanks, Blizz.
Yeah. Way to go, Blizz. Now, speaking of more Overwatch, because I know we were talking about a little bit of Overwatch League before.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, Boston Uprising, really surprising me. That's all I'm going to say.
On 2 fronts, right? Am I right?
Exactly. Exactly.
What's going on?
They're surprising me. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Overwatch League, but I do want to talk about Overwatch League All Access Pass. Now, they had the All Access Pass, which is kind of like the NFL Red Zone or whatever, right?
Whatever.
They had where you have like multiple views, you have content that is unlocked for it was $20 for.
Yes, it's $20 with the Amazon Prime, but only until May 17th.
Okay,
that's the discount. Otherwise, it'll be $30. So
So you get more you get more content, different views, and different stuff,
and a special chat room.
Ooh, special chat.
Yeah, it's nice in there. Everything's a lot slower, and but you also get 3 free skins: Moira, Soldier, and McCree.
Not anymore. And, not anymore. You get more now, right?
Well, now they've got for people with the All Access Pass.
Yeah.
We have, because I'm a part of it, and I do recommend it. It's really cool. We get new Overwatch skins in game, except they're the away skins. Nice. So you know how like their jerseys are like away jerseys, and they're mostly like a white color scheme with So we get that in game, and I think that's amazing because they look so cool, and I want them so much. So The all access pass, it's like $20 if you got the Amazon Prime thing. You get free skins, you get access to these away skin things, you get the camera angles, you get access to content like Q&As after the broadcast, you get special emotes on Twitch and stuff. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
So just to confirm, you get access to the away things, but you still have to spend the Overwatch League coins to get those? Okay.
As far as I know.
So, and they also came out with new gear in the gear store for Overwatch League.
Ooh, yeah.
And
socks,
sorry.
pants.
Sorry, I can't even think about what I want.
I know, right?
I just want like all of it.
I was thinking I could deck myself out in like gladiators. So like the pants, the socks, the hat, the shirt, the jersey, the coat, and just paint the rest of it.
Are you going away from NYXL or what?
I don't even know anymore. I love certain players, so I don't know. But you know what really gets me?
What's that?
Is the video content that some of these teams are putting out every week. If you guys are interested, if you want to get to know the teams better, if you're looking for a team to root for, and you're more prone to liking sort of the humanity side rather than just like the stats and the gameplay and all that, check out YouTube. Check out all of the teams' different YouTube channels, because some of them I recommend. The Gladiators, the Outlaws, Dallas Fuel. They put out like vlogs, like weekly vlogs, or just like weird little random things. Like Gladiators, they went out to a field with those giant like inflatable balls that you can sit yourself inside, and they just bashed each other, and they put it to music, and then Florida Mayhem shows up and they like bash each other. That's awesome. Like it's just awesome. Like you get to know these guys so well and everything. Like some teams are a lot quirkier than others, and it's really endearing. So if
Florida Mayhem is such a fun team, and I would buy their stuff if it didn't remind me of McDonald's.
Yeah,
I need some Florida Mayhem MeUndies.
The
McMahon partner with MeUndies, and
they should make some underpants. They really should. They should make everything. I want a whole outfit.
Yeah, exactly, head to toe, everything. Yep, that's the way it goes. All right. Anything else as far as like Overwatch, Hearthstone? I mean, we've kind of got a variety of things.
We talked about so much stuff today.
No, we had to go through all this stuff. It's really tough sometimes. It's really tough sometimes.
I hardly had any time to make fun of you, Pat.
There's like no time. Let's all make fun of Pat real quick.
There is an after show.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Just letting you know. So why don't we get out of here before this stuff happens? And tell me what you're up to this week and what's going on in the near future and how people can get a hold of you and all that kind of stuff. Gizmo, you're usually a good one to go first, so I'll go to you to go first.
Show them how it's done. Hey guys, my name's Gizmozord.
Hi,
you can
Gizmo.
find me on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all those things at Gizmozord. And my Heroes of the Storm podcast, Lords of the Storm, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central over at twitch.tv/Lords of the Storm, or wherever your favorite podcast catcher is. Yeah. You can find us there too.
Yeah. And you'll be talking all about the AMA.
Yes.
Which just happened.
Yes.
So that's good stuff. Shark, how's your Merely a Setback show going?
Merely a Setback is merely awesome. It's merely an awesome show. We've had a lot of fun. We actually just hit a new Patreon goal where we're going to be bringing in new guest hosts. So I'm very excited to be announcing those soon. So pay attention to our Twitter. That's Setback Podcast on Twitter. Our Twitch stream live on Monday nights at 9 Eastern, twitch.tv/Setback Podcast. You can find me, Sharku_CTR, all the things, Twitter, Twitch, everything.
Right on.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. And Thyst.
Hi.
Hi. You guys.
How come I always go last?
You guys actually just had an interview on your. Well, you had an interview.
Did we ever?
Thorn wasn't there. You had somebody from World of Warcraft on your show.
We had somebody from Blizzard for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So our show was like actually legitimate now.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And for that, yes, I should give you the big applause.
Oh,
really?
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Our last episode, we had lead program manager James Bridgers on the show, and we just sort of chatted about Blizzard life, what it's like on campus, what might be underneath Blizzard HQ, what the bathrooms are like, what's inside the orc statue, whether or not HQ is haunted, what the cafeteria is like, and, you know, some other really important things too, like, you know, what you should do if you want to get a job at Blizzard and stuff, but mostly the, you know, the haunted thing.
Right. They love dogs there.
They do love dogs there.
They love dogs there. So great.
They do.
So great. And you can find Thyst at Thyst03 everywhere on social medias and at Lagging Balls for the show.
Yeah, just look up Lagging Balls, whatever.
Yeah, just look that one up. Just do that. Sure.
Just do that.
I'm gonna play.
Just put the marker down. Put it down.
I'm sorry.
And you can follow me at Pat Crane. That's Crane with a K. Anywhere that I am. It's easy. It's just that easy. Yes.
Spell it, please.
And I invite everybody to talk to all of us. And if you want to just focus your efforts, go to @ConvertToRaid on Twitter or converttoraid@gmail.com. Either way. Or you could join the Bazoobu Gobbination by heading over to converttoraid.com. That is where everything is hosted now. Videos, audios, downloads, the swag store. Oh, man. We've got some cool stuff coming up for all of the Kickstarter stuff for the CTR party. We've got some other things that will be happening this summer. We are in full swing into swag stuff, so be looking for all that stuff. And we also have the Convert to Raid podcast network over at converttoraid.com that has all the shows from these fine folks and more. All the regular players of Convert to Raid. So those shows are over at converttoraid.com. Convert to Raid is produced and distributed by Signals Media, and that's going to be it for the show. Just stop laughing. We're not supposed to have fun on this show. This is a new show. No. Thyst, Shark, Gizmo, thank you guys. Twitch chat, thank you. It's always weird seeing you. And it's just a weird time. They were talking about Twix bars. They were talking about all sorts of things in the Twitch chat today. It's really weird. And if you're out there and you haven't been to one of the live recordings of this show, make sure to stop by sometime. We go Tuesdays at 9 p.m.
Oh, I just realized, Gizmo. Pat said party.
Oh, yes, I did say party.
Party.
So I want to thank you guys, no matter where you're listening to us. Really do appreciate it. And until next time, for all the guys that Convert to Raid, we'll see you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah, that's right. Scott Johnson, he has a Kickstarter out there right now. It's for his deck of cards stuff.
Ooh.
He's selling
I do want that.
Deckard cards?
Yeah, Deckard cards. Stay a while and play some gin rummy. It's not.
We should start a Kickstarter.
He didn't go. Oh, I'll be starting a Kickstarter soon enough with the CTR party. And yes, I did say party.
Party.
There we go. And that's going to be killer as well. We've got so much stuff lined up for you guys for the Kickstarter for that. Really good.
It's like one of those adult parties.
No.
Remember last year?
What do you mean?
You're like, hey, you want to go to this adult party? And I was like, I guess I am an adult, technically. You don't remember
technically.
that? I don't know. I kind of remember it.
I don't remember saying that it was an adult party.
No, it was pretty adult.
You have to put your keys into a bowl in the beginning.
Yeah, like a fish bowl, wasn't it? Something like that. But I didn't have any keys, so I just dropped my lanyard in. It's all coming back to me. That was a weird night. Is it going to be like that?